It is January 27th. It is 7 o'clock if you're here live here in the Central Time Zone, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. If you're live, if you're on the replay, hashtag Team Replay in the comments. Thank you so much for being here. Three main topics tonight. Three main topics I want to talk to. I'm excited about all three. The Dallas Cowboys kept two coaches today. Basically, we'll talk about that. Joe Rogan versus the old crusty rocker. Joe Rogan crushes them. Of course, Spotify does the right thing. We'll talk about that. And Kiefer Sutherland talking about a 24 remake. I loved that show back in the day. We're going to talk about all three things, really four things, two different Dallas Cowboy coaches. We'll start talking about it right now. The Dallas Cowboys had an interesting situation when the season ended just a few days ago, week and a half ago. They had their head coach, Mike McCarthy. He's staying. Everybody knows he's staying. There's no question he's staying. But their defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, who was the head coach over in Atlanta and just took him to the Super Bowl not that long ago, he was going to interview all over the place. Hey, Eileen, my mom, I'm glad you're here. Dan Quinn was going to interview all over the place, and he did. Also, our offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, going to talk about leaving the Cowboys. Hey, Anna, how are you, my friend? So glad to see you. So Mike McCarthy, head coach, is going to stay, but Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator, they might leave. Okay. Dan Quinn leaving would be horrifically bad, and I frankly thought it was a done deal. I thought he was going to leave. I thought he was going to be the most sought-after head coaching candidate in the league, and he might have been. He interviewed with, I think, 5 teams, and today he announced he's staying. Why does that matter? Last year, they were historically bad. Not last year, like the year that was still going on. In 2020 season, 2021 playoffs, the Dallas Cowboys had their worst defense probably ever. Dan Quinn gets fired by the Falcons. He comes over to Dallas, and the defense goes through the roof. Now, we drafted Micah Parsons. He's a stud. Lots of things changed, but mostly it was Dan Quinn. Today, when they announced that Dan Quinn was sticking around, not all, but a whole bunch of the Cowboys defensive stars tweeted their approval. They were putting Q and all kinds of things, basically saying, thank goodness Dan Quinn's staying. I would have, as a Cowboy fan, been more upset with Dan Quinn leaving than our head coach, Mike McCarthy. Not because I don't like Mike McCarthy. I don't really care. He's, half a dozen of one, 6 of the other. It doesn't matter to me. He's a fine coach, but there's other opportunities out there too. But Dan Quinn leaving for the defense would have been huge. Now, Mike McCarthy left. Dan Quinn could slide in the head coaching slot. There's all kinds of reasons why I wanted Dan Quinn to stay. Kellen Moore on the offensive side, less so. Is he a great coach? I don't know. I really don't know. But there's a whole bunch of offensive coordinators, so if we lost him, it wouldn't matter, and we still might. But Mike McCarthy is staying, and Dan Quinn is staying. I think that is great news for the Cowboys. So I don't know if you're interested in that in the chat. Let me know if you're watching on Team Replay, hashtag Team Replay in the comments. Let me know what you think about that. I see a couple people in the chat who are definitely not football fans, but I'm glad you guys are here regardless, and I'm excited about it. I think it's really, really good news. Now let's get to this. Well, really quickly, with the NFL coaching carousel, the Raiders are reaching out to the Patriots offensive coordinator McDaniels. The Broncos just hired a guy to be their head coach. The Bears just hired a guy, defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. So all kinds of stuff's happening. Point is, I don't think Kellen Moore is going anywhere. That's enough of that. Let's move over to Spotify. Hey, Mark. Good evening to you. I'm glad you're here. Spotify here. Let's share this on the screen, shall we? Let's pull this up. So I find this pretty hilarious. So I'm a big Joe Rogan fan. I listen to his podcast, and I watch the clips, frankly, on YouTube, like a lot of us do. But his podcast has, I think, like 11 million daily viewers. I'm pretty sure, or listeners, and I think that's the number. I'm pretty sure I heard that today. That's more than CNN gets on their evening viewership. So I think that he's clearly mainstream. The other day, this is very interesting. The other day, Neil Young, old crusty rocker, Neil Young comes out and says, you can either have Joe Rogan or me. It's pretty insane. Why Spotify can't afford to lose Joe Rogan. This is right from The Verge. I like the website. The thinking behind an easy decision. I'm not going to read the whole article, but here's a little bit of it. You've probably seen by now, but to catch you up, if not, on Monday, Neil Young issued an ultimatum to Spotify. Keep Joe Rogan or me. You can't have both on the service. I got to be honest with you. The people who are listening to Searching for a Heart of Gold are probably unable to find Spotify on their phone. Just saying. So this is stupid. I am doing this because Spotify is spreading fake information about vaccines, potentially causing death to those who believe the disinformation being spread by them, he wrote in a now deleted letter, according to Rolling Stone. The chief issue, he said, is Joe Rogan, Spotify's star podcaster, who Spotify is paying $100 million to exclusively have their podcast. Yesterday, Young made good on his word, along with the record label, by removing his music from the service. Now, I'm not sure if that's the correct way to say that sentence. I think Spotify said, okay, crusty guy, we'll take your music off. I'm sorry. You were big when 8-tracks were big, Neil Young. I guarantee you your main fandom isn't big on Spotify. This is stupid. Young then issued another letter on his website to illuminate how he learned of the issue, thank his label, and encourage others to follow suit. I sincerely hope that other artists and record companies will move off of Spotify and stop supporting Spotify's dead misinformation about COVID. This stems from, let me stop sharing that. This stems from Joe Rogan getting COVID. And he went out there and went on Instagram and told people, hey, I have COVID. This is what I'm doing. It was reported on CNN and they lied. Joe Rogan brought on Sanjay Gupta and said, you guys lied. And he said, yeah, I guess we did. Sorry about that. It's factual that they lied and made it look like he was taking something that is crazy, yet it was prescribed by his doctor. So all of this to say that craziness in the vaccines thing, I don't even care what side you're on of it. I really think it's stupid. Crusty old guy hears about it, says, hey, take me off or take Joe Rogan off. There's no way we'd be talking about Neil Young had he not said this. This is a cry for attention. This is a, hey, please put me in the news. And I guess we're doing it right here, aren't we? Neil Young hasn't been relevant since I was in high school. I mean, come on. He is searching for a heart of gold. He wasn't even good when he was big. So anyway, there it is. That's what it is. They paid Joe Rogan $100 million freaking dollars. And there's been some other stuff too. There's been some social justice warriors who work over at Spotify who said they would quit if they kept Joe Rogan on. And I guess they quit because they kept Joe Rogan on. This marks a critical turning point in Spotify's company narrative, according to The Verge. It's no longer a music company, but one committed to podcasting to the point that it'll compromise relationships with musical artists to ensure its strategy success. I said that because he's hoping, Neil Young, to bring other artists along and get them to come off of Spotify. Why would they do that? We listen to music on Spotify. If you're an artist, you want to be on there. So this is one more sad attempt. Sorry, swing and miss from the far woke, what is it? Social justice warriors, silly cancel culture silliness. And the funny thing is Joe Rogan is on their side on most things politically. So it is what it is. I think this is funny, and I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan, and I'm glad he, won this fight. This wasn't even a fight. Next story, let's move over to 24. Let's share this one too. I'm a big fan of 24. If you don't know what 24 was, it was one of the great shows of the 90s. And Kiefer Sutherland was the star. He has been asked about this for quite some time. And he usually leaves a little hint, hey, maybe he'll come back. And he did so again here. Let's talk about it. Kiefer Sutherland, speaking in an interview with the British newspaper The Guardian, in which he answers readers' questions, speaks fondly of his experience with 24 and expresses an interest in possibly returning to the role in the future. The 55-year-old actor seems enthusiastic, but also addresses the need for something to happen sooner rather than later. Here's what Sutherland said. I've learned to say never, but if the writers are going to come up with a good idea, they better do it quick because I'm slowing down. Time is catching up and the bones are getting brittle. Maybe they should reboot it with new characters and Jack Bauer somehow gets out of China and that storyline's resolved. I'm open to all of it. 24 was one of my great experiences in life. And if there's a smart, intelligent way to finish it, or at least finish my involvement, I'm open to that. When we last left Jack, he was sacrificing himself. Basically, he was caught. He's going to China, the slow boat to China, as they say, and we're never going to see him again. And it was a great ending to a show. They did do a reboot where Jack wasn't involved. Jack, the character, Kiefer, the actor, just didn't work. It was there for one season. I love this idea. I agree they need to hurry up. It's been a decade and a half now. Hard to imagine Kiefer being the lead with the action like he was in 2024. Also, they're going to have to update the technology, but they can do it. They can rescue Jack, or Jack can get out. Or it was Russia. No, it was China, wasn't it? It was China. It was China. Now I'm confused. Chat, let me know. Was it Russia or was it China? I'm pretty sure it was China. Regardless, wherever he is far away, the guy on Stranger Things in Russia. Anyway, I think they could do something really, really fun where he doesn't have to be as action-packed. Update that technology, and I think it could be the number one show on TV. Now, I don't watch a lot of terrestrial TV, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, anything that's on the networks. I don't watch a lot of it, but this would get me back. With Fox, yeah, Fox had 24. I would absolutely come back for a Kiefer Sutherland-led 24. So we shall see. He's open to it. Why wouldn't they do it? You've got 27 different CSIs and 47 different CTUs and a couple Hawaii 5-0s. To me, network TV looks crusty and old, like, well, Neil Young. This would work for me for sure. The writers were great. Kiefer's into it. Let's bring him home somehow. What say you in chat? So those are the three main things I want to talk about tonight. The Dallas Cowboys are keeping their two main coaches. The defensive players are very, very excited about it. Spotify, Joe Rogan kind of had a fight with Neil Young, but I think Neil Young had a fight with nobody, to be honest. And then Kiefer Sutherland saying he might come back for 24. I couldn't be more excited about that. Let me get caught up in chat now, see what's going on. And I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys care about any of that stuff? The Cowboy thing, the Spotify Joe Rogan thing? Do you agree with my take that it was really just Neil Young trying to get some attention, which I guess worked? I mean, you use, like, what am I doing? I put Joe Rogan in my title. I guess the same kind of thing, right? And then Kiefer Sutherland and 24 fans in the house. Did I say hello to? I did. Anna and Mar, hello. What's going on? Everybody saying hi to each other. Autocorrect. Patriotism USA. Is this a sports stream tonight? We talked about the Cowboys leading off. That was the first thing we talked about. So if you're just getting here, we talked about the Dallas Cowboys. We talked about Spotify and Joe Rogan. Yeah, baby, my Cowgirls. You saw the thumbnail, right? And Kiefer Sutherland in 24 is what we talked about. Mar says, I watch YouTube and Disney Plus instead of broadcast television. Me too. I haven't watched a lot of broadcast television in quite some time. I watched sports there and some news. You never saw Jack sleep, eat, or anything. The reboot wasn't good at all. Jack could be the boss. I think it was China. It was China. Yeah, I mean, Jack, I mean, I think the obvious play here is he gets out. He gets saved. He dies, dare I say it. I mean, there's so many opportunities to be in a story. You know, he could be a bargaining chip. You know, he's the Kiefer Sutherland, the actor, is actually a socialist. I'm not trying to be political here. He is. You could do some angle there where they flip him or something. I mean, there's so many things you could do here. And I think it would be a lot of fun, and I want more 24. Let's see what else I missed. Yeah, and Annie, yeah, you never saw him sleep. If you don't know the 24 show, I'm assuming everybody does, but 24 was 24 hours straight. And of course he didn't sleep. He was staying up late because the world was on fire. He slept on the days that we weren't watching, obviously. We need Jack's hacker. Can't remember her name. She was fun. Well, boy, they had a bunch, right? Oh boy, I'm picturing Chloe. It was Chloe, right? And then Edgar. Oh, the scene where Edgar dies, right? He's stuck in the gas and he's in the window and Jack has to keep him in there. Oh, but yeah, Chloe. I loved it. You know, there's a lot of interesting intrigue with the show. Hey, good evening to you, patriotism. Not everyone loved the show. You know, I think that was it oh my gosh, I can't think of his name. The famous actor who was Jack's number 2 for a while on the show for a season really, really hated the show, really, really hated Kiefer. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy. 24, let me type it in. 24 star didn't get along with Kiefer. Picturing him. What is his name? Freddie Prinze Jr. Freddie Prinze Jr. appeared in season 8. Says he hated every moment of working with Kiefer Sutherland. And he was good. I remember him being good. There was a lot of good actors in that. I really liked his daughter. I really liked some of the guys who were heads of CTU. I loved the president, Dennis Haysbert, he's my favorite Cleveland Indians power hitter of all time. If you get the joke from Major League. Yeah, that's true. He didn't sleep when he was knocked out. Good call there. Chloe was the best, odd but good. I thought she was great. Yeah. I loved the show. I loved the character development, but come on, it was all about Kiefer. It just was. So to wrap up tonight, quick show tonight, Dallas Cowboys keeping their 2 coaches, Dan Quinn, Mike McCarthy. I'm excited about the Dan Quinn thing. I couldn't care less about the Mike McCarthy thing. To end on that, frankly, I do want to say this. There's been a kind of a love affair thing with Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboys owner, and Sean Payton until yesterday, the longtime New Orleans Saints coach. Sean Payton came out yesterday and said, hey, I'm not coaching New Orleans anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do. He seems interested in doing TV and maybe come back and do some coaching in a few years. I think what's going to happen, and I'm with pretty high certainty, and I think a lot of people will agree with what I'm saying here, Mike McCarthy stays until he gets kicked out for not winning or they win. Mike McCarthy's done. Sean Payton comes out of football. Sean Payton will be on the Fox studio show probably, right? And then in a couple of years, he'll come and coach the Cowboys. I could see the Cowboys hiring him as some kind of consultant for when Mike McCarthy wants to leave, but I don't think that'll happen. I think what'll happen is he'll go work for Fox and be, one of those heads talkers in the pregame postgame show. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. And then, so I hear Big Ben is going into TV. We'll see, but I'll tell you what. So I grew up a Chargers fan. I grew up in Southern California. I'm a Cowboys fan because I live here, and a Chargers fan because I used to live there. They're being San Diego. They're now in LA. I hated Eli Manning. Football talk. For those of you who don't like football, here it comes. I hated Eli Manning for one reason. His daddy, Archie. Hey, Kadani Shaw. Long time no see, buddy. Hope you're doing good. When we had the draft, the 3 big quarterbacks, Big Ben, Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers. Eli Manning was clearly the first pick in the draft. The Chargers had the pick. Eli said, don't pick me. At the time, it made me mad because I was a Chargers fan. Okay. The Chargers made a great trade, got Eli over to New York. We got Phillip Rivers and then a bunch of other stuff. And I would say to you, if that draft happened today, patriotism, I want to know. Kadani Sean, I want to know. I know you're a big Colts guy. And you guys had Rivers for a year. If you could do that draft again, who would you take? Would you take Big Ben? Would you take Phillip Rivers? Or would you take Eli Manning? Now, Big Ben won a couple of Super Bowls. Eli won a couple. I think he won. Yeah. Eli had some Super Bowl success. Phillip Rivers never did. Maybe I'm being a homer here. I do have a Phillip Rivers jersey in my closet right there. But I would submit to you that if the draft happened again, Phillip Rivers would be the first pick. Eli Manning with the helmet catch. Big Ben obviously getting drafted by a better team. They never put it together with Phillip Rivers in San Diego. And they certainly were in LA later. And then they certainly didn't get it done in Indianapolis. The argument is probably Big Ben had the best career. And then Eli and then Phillip Rivers. But for me, I still take Phillip Rivers first. If you put Phillip Rivers on the Steelers when Big Ben got drafted, and you put Big Ben on San Diego, I think Phillip Rivers is the one that we're all heralding the most. What say you in chat? I want to know. It is National Chocolate Cake Day. Yesterday was National Spouse Day. Today, National Chocolate Cake Day. It would be Big Ben, you think? I mean, it's hard to argue any of the 3. They obviously all 3 are Hall of Famers. I don't know. I watched Philip Rivers every Sunday for a bunch of years. I think he was the best of the three. And I think Big Ben is number 2, and then Eli's 3, and I think they're all great. But I think you could argue Big Ben versus Philip. I don't know how anyone doesn't put Eli 3. I think most people just didn't follow Philip Rivers because he was in San Diego. But that's what I think. For me, it's Philip Rivers, then Big Ben, then Eli. And now is the day we can do it because all 3 of them are now retired. You say Big Ben, I think of the big clock. Gadani Sean says, I would take Philip over Eli. I would have too. I would take him number 1. Again, I wouldn't have a problem with anyone taking Big Ben first. I just think if you could put all 3 of them on the same team, call it Steelers, Philip Rivers is the best quarterback in my opinion. We need Pete to decide your question, right? I know, right? He's probably doing hockey or something. I don't know. Now, that does remind me. Pete was on the show last night. I'm going to try to make this show as close to a 5-day-a-week show as I can. I'm not promising Saturday or Sunday. Just can't. I got family stuff. I will tell you this. It's kind of a precursor to our show. So Pete's live streams, the sports streams, they actually started on my channel. And me and Pete and Kelly talking football is not only how it all started, but how it's going to be again. So when the football season is over, after the Super Bowl in 2-3 weeks, on Thursday nights, and we're on Pete's channel, the 3 of us are going to be back together, and we're going to have a weekly show. I'm going to do a sports show 1 hour after that. So we'll do an hour on Pete's show, and then they'll do an hour over on my channel where we're talking sports, 100% sports. This show, Breaking Baits, is going to be pretty much 5 nights a week where we talk about things that I'm really passionate about, okay? So there'll be some sports, but there'll be some Disney, there'll be some pop culture. Tonight we talked about football, my Cowboys. We talked about Spotify and Joe Rogan, and we talked about 24 and Kiefer Sutherland. It's just going to be stuff that I'm passionate about, and it's going to be fun. I'm probably going to move this to a podcast style show where I interact with the chat, then I talk about a story, I interact with the chat, I talk about the story, and then I'll cut it up and put it out as a podcast. That's the plan. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it. But that's the plan. And then the show on Thursday nights kind of be a post-game show on our football show or on his channel where we talk just sports. Once it becomes baseball season, I'll be doing this during the game. So maybe the show will be a couple hours long, but that's what we're going to do. I've been thinking about it a lot. I'm still going to be talking Disney a lot, but I've got more things that I'm passionate about, and I've just decided this is where I'm going to do it. So any questions, comments, concerns, now's the time. We're only 22 minutes deep. I'm not planning on going for an hour tonight. We'll probably close it up in the next 5 minutes. Now's the time. Boy, we're getting a lot of these bots lately. Block user. Goodbye. See you never again. So anyway, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, now's the time. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jeff Bates. Dole Whip Dad is this channel. I appreciate you being here. Patriotism USA says in the chat, speaking of Disney, do you think it's too early to bring back the parade and stage show at MK? I don't think it's too early, but I think it's probably COVID related and crowd control related. And I can say what I mean to say there is the crowds. This used to be the slow time. The last couple of weeks in January, the first couple of weeks in February, this was the time that people knew to go because it was lower in attendance. Not anymore, man. The crowds are through the roof. So I guess that's kind of a non-answer answer, right? I think they'll bring them back when they can, but I think they're fearful of the pictures of the large crowds. I don't know. That's just my sense. What's going on with 24? I missed that. I'll say it again. Kiefer Sutherland. Here, we'll just read it again. I put it up on the screen, but I'll read it to you. Kiefer Sutherland was asked, speaking in an interview with the British newspaper The Guardian. He was just answering questions, and he spoke very fondly of his experience on 24 and expressed an interest in coming back in the future. Here's what he said. I've learned to say never, but if the writers are going to come up with a good idea, they better do it quick because I'm slowing down. Time is catching up and the bones are getting brittle. Maybe they should reboot it with new characters, and Jack Bauer somehow gets out of China. There you go. And that storyline's resolved. I'm open to all of it. 24 was one of the great experiences in my life. And if there's a smart, intelligent way to finish it, or at least finish my involvement, I'd be open to that. I've always wondered why he left the show to go to another political drama. He left the show, and then the very next season with Fox, I believe, same network, I believe, it was, what was the one where he's a vice president or he's a president or whatever? I don't remember what it was called. So it was very strange. It wasn't the same show, but it was in the same kind of vein. I never really understood what happened there, why he did it. But I guess you get tired. I mean, with like anything, you want to do things different, right? You weren't alone in getting the bots. Yeah, so I don't get a lot of the idiots in my streams. I really don't. But I've been getting the bots lately, like pretty much 1 or 2 a night a stream lately. But it is what it is. My daughter sent me a text that Festival of Fantasy is returning. I saw something about that too. All-time favorite show. Would love to see it back. You know, Breaking Bad is my favorite all-time show, but 24 might be second. I'd have to think that through. That might be a good yeah, I think I'll do that. That might be a good topic for a night. Top 10 favorite shows of all time. I don't know. Marin State Show returning. Freddie Prinze Jr. was good, but all I see is Shaggy. I know, right? Well, he's the one he hated Kiefer. He won't be back, that's for sure. Jeff, with schools going virtual learning, families can go to Florida whenever and keep up with their education line. Yeah, I mean, that's a good call. That's a good call. I also think, though, that, you know, the 2 or 3 years that preceded the pandemic, so what are we talking about? 2018, 2019, 2017, 2018, 2019, we saw a growth in Florida theme park attendance. And I don't think it'll ever go back. Hey, Anna, what's going on? Long time no see. Hope you're having a great day. But I do think you're right, Mar. I think that homeschools, I think we're up 10%. Let me put it this way. 10% of public school kids are not there anymore. Designated Survivor. Thank you, Anna. Yeah, Designated Survivor. I never watched the show. Or I think I might watch the first week, but I didn't like it. But anyway, 10% of the public school kids in America are not public school kids anymore. Where are they? They're being homeschooled. And you make a good point, Mar. Exactly. 10% of all the kids in America is a lot of kids. Yeah. I like Kiefer and Designated Survivor. Sorry for the bad spelling, Anna. That's okay. No, I never watched it. Or again, I think I only watched the first show, but I loved 24. So to wrap it up, half-hour show tonight. The Dallas Cowboys keep their 2 main guys. I don't know what's going to happen with Kellen Moore, but I do not think he's going to get a head coaching job. I do not. So I think that we keep Dan Quinn as the defensive coordinator. I think we keep Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator. And think we keep Mike McCarthy because it was announced. Mike McCarthy's staying. It was announced. The Dan Quinn one is a surprise to me. And the studs on the defense are very, very excited about it because they've been tweeting about it all day. Topic number 2, Spotify, Joe Rogan, Neil Young, searching for a heart of gold, trying to get some attention. I guess it worked. We're talking about him, but this will probably be his last time on a headline. Nobody's using Spotify for your music, old crusty guy. Sorry. And then Kiefer Sutherland, 24. Yes, please. I would love it. If it's on Fox, if it's on Netflix, I couldn't care less. I just want it on my TV. Colts looking for a defensive coordinator. Eberflus went to the Bears. I saw that. I'm not going to pretend like I know that much about Eberflus. I will tell you that I thought that the Colts have outperformed their roster the last couple of years, so he must be doing something right. Hey, Ryan Land, what's going on? I think Eberflus has a name that people respect, but I don't know much about him. You probably do more than I do, Kadani Sean. You're in Indianapolis area. I'll tell you, I would rather lose my offensive coordinator than my defensive coordinator. I feel like offensive coordinators, there's so many of them out there that are hot and young, and people want to, have them on their team. Losing a defensive coordinator hurts the culture. So I don't know how that'll work for you guys. I also think you're going to get a new quarterback, so could be a reset. But when you got that offensive line and Jonathan Taylor, you're going to be good. Patriotism says, Jeff, you're a Cowgirls fan, right? Yes, I'm a Chargers fan and a Cowboys fan. I grew up in Southern California. I was a Rams fan as a kid. We lived in LA. But then I moved to San Diego. And while I stayed a Dodgers fan, I didn't become a Padres fan. The Rams left, so I became a Chargers fan in San Diego. And then we've been here for a decade, here being the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And yeah, I've always liked the cheerleaders, and now I like the football players too. So yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan. And people always ask me who I'd root for if they were playing against each other. And the answer has always been the Chargers, but deep down, I'm more of a Cowboys fan now. I've been thinking about this lately because they're here. I love me some Justin Herbert, right? I just don't get to see them every week, right? Unless I buy the package, which I've thought about doing. But listening to Talk Sports Radio, it's Cowboys 24/7. It's Cowboys 24/7 even during – it was Cowboys 24/7 even when the Rangers were going to the World Series. So being a football fan, it's kind of hard not to be a Cowboys fan here. So anyway, that's my answer. Bottom of the evening, says Ryan. Everybody say hi to my son-in-law, Ryan Land. Love you, buddy. I would watch reruns of 24. So I was going to say that, Anna. 24 reruns don't hold up because of the technology. They've got or what's that noise? I don't know. All of the tech, which was such an important part of 24, has come and gone. And that might be a fun angle, right? You know, he's been in China for a few years. He comes back. You know, Jared Leto, the lead singer of 30 Seconds to Mars and the Joker and all these people. Now it wasn't for years and years and years, but he was on a journey in the New Mexico desert, and so he was closed off and everything. And for a couple of weeks, he didn't even know the pandemic was a thing. And he comes out, and the pandemic's there. Well, the same kind of thing for Jack Bauer, right? He can come back. He went from a tech whiz to not knowing how to do anything. Could be fun. I don't know. I think a new quarterback as well. Yeah, the Colts are going to need a new quarterback for sure. Dial it up. All right, there you go. I think that's it, folks. I think that's it. We went about a half hour tonight. The Cowboys, Spotify, and Joe Rogan, and Searching for a Heart of Gold. That's the only song I know by that guy that I can think of anyway. And then Kiefer Sutherland, 24. It is what it is. It's like watching the newer X-Files, and the tech was a laugh. What a good call. I loved the X-Files, but it doesn't hold up very well. But if we did a reboot, would you need Duchovny? I think you would. And her too. Anyway, that's it. Guys, thank you for spending, whether you were here for 1 minute or you were here for the whole half hour. Again, this is going to be a regular thing. Now, I will tell you this right now. It won't be live tomorrow. I've got some family come over. Tomorrow is field trip day. We do homeschooling stuff for my work, and tomorrow is a field trip. So we're going on a field trip. I don't even know where I'm going. I don't remember where we're going, but it's going to be fun. I know I'm excited about it. And then we've got some friends and family coming over, and we're going to have a nice evening. So I won't be live tomorrow night. I will likely be live Monday. May have a surprise for you on Saturday. If you're into Star Wars, me and my daughter are talking about having that show happen again. We got to go watch. Actually, we're going to be watching tonight the newest episode of the Book of Boba Fett. But regardless, this show, 7 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock Eastern time, other o'clocks other places. I'm going to try very hard to make it 4 or 5 nights a week, and I hope you check it out. Night, Jeff. Thanks for this. Jillian. Yeah, Jillian Anderson. Yeah. Very tiny in real life. I loved her. I love that show, X-Files. Anyway, you don't have to go, but you can't stay here. Have fun storming the castle. Thanks for being here. Cowboys keep 2 of their main coaches. Spotify and does the right thing with Joe Rogan. Tells Neil Young to take a flying leap. Kiefer Sutherland opens the door to 24. That's it for tonight. I appreciate every single one of you. No show tomorrow night. Have a good weekend. And I'll see everybody. And I will have it. Well, no, I don't have a show on Sunday either. You might not see me until Monday now. That's it. I appreciate you. Have a great night. Take care. Later.